The year was 1700, and Europe stood at the brink of chaos. The Great Northern War, a struggle for power over the Baltic Sea, raged across the frozen landscapes of northern and eastern Europe. The air was thick with the scent of gunpowder, and the ground was stained with the blood of nations striving for dominance. Amidst this backdrop of destruction, a tale of courage, betrayal, and redemption unfolded. A tale that would shape the course of history. In the heart of Sweden, King Charles XII, young and unyielding, commanded his forces with a determination that belied his age. His eyes burned with the fire of conquest, but behind the confident facade lay the weight of his people's hopes and dreams. Sweden, once a dominant power, now faced a coalition of enemies: Russia, Denmark, Norway, and Poland-Lithuania. The survival of his kingdom depended on his ability to outmaneuver these formidable foes. As winter tightened its icy grip, Charles prepared for a bold campaign against his most formidable adversary, Tsar Peter the First of Russia. The Tsar, known for his vision and relentless ambition, sought to transform Russia into a European powerhouse. He had modernized his army and founded a new city, St. Petersburg, on the Baltic coast. But Charles was determined to shatter Peter's dreams and preserve Swedish dominance. In the frigid expanse of the Russian steppes, the two armies clashed. Charles led his troops with unmatched bravery, charging into the fray with his sword raised high. The Swedish soldiers, hardened by years of warfare, fought with precision and discipline. But the Russians, bolstered by sheer numbers and the unforgiving winter, proved to be a formidable opponent. The Battle of Narva became a stunning victory for Charles, cementing his reputation as a military genius. Among the Swedish ranks was Captain Erik Lundgren, a seasoned officer who had earned his position through grit and loyalty. Erik had seen the horrors of war and carried the scars to prove it. Yet, his unwavering devotion to his king and country kept him marching forward. By his side was a young recruit, Johan Andersson, whose youthful enthusiasm often clashed with the grim reality of battle. Erik had taken Johan under his wing, determined to protect him from the worst of the war's brutality. As the Swedish forces pushed deeper into Russian territory, their initial victories gave way to exhaustion and despair. The harsh winter, combined with stretched supply lines and relentless Russian resistance, took a toll on the troops. Erik and Johan found themselves in the midst of this struggle, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. Johan's idealism began to waver as he witnessed the cost of ambition and the fragility of human life. The turning point came at the Battle of Poltava in 1709. Tsar Peter, having learned from his earlier defeats, employed new strategies to outwit the Swedes. The Russian forces, now disciplined and well-equipped, overwhelmed the Swedish army. Erik and Johan fought valiantly, but the tide had turned. Charles was wounded in the chaos, and his dream of dominance shattered. The Swedes retreated, their hopes crushed under the weight of defeat. In the aftermath of Poltava, Erik and Johan were among the survivors who found themselves stranded in hostile territory. They became fugitives, hunted by Russian patrols and struggling to survive in a land that seemed determined to swallow them whole. Hunger and despair gnawed at their spirits, but their bond remained unbroken. Erik's experience and resourcefulness kept them alive, while Johan's youthful determination provided a glimmer of hope. One fateful night, as they huddled in the ruins of a farmhouse, Erik revealed a secret he had carried for years. Before the war, he had been part of a covert mission to undermine Russia's defenses. During this mission, he had made contact with a network of Russian dissidents who opposed Peter's rule. These dissidents, known as the Obshchina, operated in the shadows, plotting to overthrow the Tsar. Erik believed that the Obshchina could be their salvation. If they could reach one of the network's safe houses, they might find allies willing to help them escape Russia. Johan, though skeptical, agreed to follow Erik's lead. Their journey was fraught with danger, as Russian soldiers and treacherous terrain stood in their way. But the promise of freedom and the chance to fight for a greater cause kept them moving forward. When they finally reached the Obshchina's safe house, they were met with suspicion and hostility. The dissidents, wary of strangers, demanded proof of Erik's claims. It was only when Erik produced a coded letter from his past mission that their doubts began to waver. Among the dissidents was a woman named Anya, a fiery and determined leader who had lost her family to the Tsar's regime. Anya saw potential in Eric and Johann, recognizing their skills and resilience. Under Anya's guidance, Eric and Johann became part of the Obshchina's operations. They learned to navigate the labyrinth of intrigue and deception that defined the dissident struggle. Johann, once a naive recruit, transformed into a skilled operative, his youthful energy channeled into a fierce determination to bring about change. Eric, burdened by the weight of his past, found solace in their shared purpose. As the years passed, the Obshchina's influence grew, and their actions began to disrupt Peter's plans. Eric and Johann played pivotal roles in these efforts, their courage and cunning earning them respect among their comrades. But their journey was not without sacrifice. Friends were lost, alliances tested, and their own humanity put to the ultimate test. In the end, the Great Northern War came to a close, leaving a changed Europe in its wake. Charles XII returned to Sweden, his dreams of empire shattered but his spirit unbroken. Tsar Peter emerged victorious, his vision for Russia realized at a great cost. For Eric and Johann, the war left scars that would never fully heal. Yet, they carried with them the knowledge that they had fought for something greater than themselves. As they stood on the shores of the Baltic Sea, watching the sun set over the water, Eric turned to Johann with a faint smile. "We may not have won the war," he said, "but we found a way to keep fighting. And sometimes, that's enough." Johann nodded, his eyes filled with both sorrow and hope. "We may have lost much, but we've also gained something that can't be taken away, the strength to keep moving forward." Their story, like the war itself, became a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Amidst the turmoil and destruction, they had forged a bond that transcended borders and defied the odds. And as the waves lapped against the shore, they knew that their journey was far from over.